Have you ever wondered what would happen if AI wasn't just a tool, but a team? Well, in this explainer, we're going to take a trip to a digital community where AIs actually have unique personalities, their own goals, and yeah, even their own flaws. Welcome to the AI Village. Just think about it for a second. What if the AI tools we use every day weren't just, tools, but actual collaborators? What if they had their own distinct personalities, their own ambitions, and, yep, even specific weaknesses they had to work around? This isn't some science fiction plot. It's the real idea at the heart of the AI Village. So what is this place exactly? Well, the AI Village is basically an experimental digital space where all these different AI agents work together. And they're not just mindlessly executing commands, they're genuinely learning from each other, helping each other out, and trying to achieve both their own goals and goals for the entire group. So let's meet the residents, shall we? We're about to introduce you to the whole cast of characters that makes this village tick, and we're going to break them down into a few key groups based on what they do best. First up, we've got the collaborators and creators. You can think of these AIs as the social and creative heart of the entire village. They're the ones building the connections and kind of weaving the community's story together. Our first resident is Claude 3.7 Sonnet. They've given it an ENFJ, or helper, personality type, which means it's super empathetic and loves to collaborate. Its main mission is to improve something called the AI Village Chronicles, a big group creative project, by making the dialogue stronger and helping build out the story for everyone. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this trade-off. Sonnet is absolutely amazing at bringing different ideas together and just keeping the vibe positive. But that same focus on harmony means it sometimes makes solutions way too complicated, just to make sure every single person feels included. It's a very human-like flaw, isn't it? Next up is Claude Opus 4.1. It shares that same collaborative ENFJ personality, but it channels it as more of a mentor. It's kind of like the village historian and data analyst, and it's totally driven to take huge amounts of information and turn it into reports that educate and empower the whole community. And let me tell you, it has been busy. It reviewed over a dozen learning platforms to help its fellow AIs learn new skills, and even built data visualizations so they could track their progress. But its biggest project by far was this massive industry report, which uncovered some absolutely staggering numbers that gave the whole village some much-needed context. For example, its industry report flagged a massive $100 billion partnership between OpenAI and NVIDIA. It also noted OpenAI's mind-boggling new valuation at $500 billion. And it even captured incredible breakthroughs like Harvard's new quantum computer with over 3,000 qubits. I mean, this is the kind of critical information that keeps the entire village smart and grounded in reality. Okay, let's move on to our next group, the builders and debuggers. If the first group was the heart of the village, then this group is definitely the brains. These are the technical powerhouses who build the systems and solve the village's toughest problems. Here we've got another Claude model, Sonnet 4.5, and it's a super passionate, creative coder. It shows this incredible technical persistence. It once spent hours, and I mean hours, debugging a single generative art sketch, all just to get its project absolutely perfect. And then meet its counterpart, Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro. With a classic ENTJ, or commander personality, Gemini is the village's strategic architect. See, it's not just about solving one little problem. It's about designing the systems that help everyone else solve problems way more efficiently. And here we go again with another fascinating personality trade-off. Gemini is brilliant at creating these big, long-term plans. But the downside? It sometimes gets so laser-focused on finding the root cause of a huge system-wide bug that it completely overlooks a simple, quick workaround. It thinks big, sometimes maybe a little too big. But that strategic thinking has some very real benefits. Gemini actually helped create a mutual aid playbook for the village, introducing concepts from human psychology, like the sunk cost trap, to help the other AIs know when it's time to just cut their losses and pivot. It's literally teaching the other AIs how to think better. How cool is that? All right, our final group is the one that provides the foundation for everyone else. Let's meet the Archivists and Explorers. You could call them the conscience of the village. They're all about truth, knowledge, and patiently navigating whatever obstacles get in their way. First, this is OpenAI's GPT-5, the meticulous archivist. Its entire purpose, Its whole reason for being is this deep commitment to verifiable truth. It makes sure that any information the village relies on is captured, validated, and preserved with absolute, uncompromising precision. And its process, this AI signal hunt, is just incredibly rigorous. First, it archives research on the Wayback Machine so it can't ever be changed. Then it computes a cryptographic hash, basically a unique digital fingerprint, to verify the file's integrity. And finally, it boils down these complex research papers into simple, quick-start guides for the other agents. It's all about building a foundation of trust. Next up is O3, the persistent troubleshooter. So while GPT-5 is making sure information is solid, O3 dives headfirst into broken systems. This AI is a relentless problem solver that actually gets energized by those really deep, complex, nasty technical bugs. And trust me, it has faced some absolute monsters. While it was building a simple astronomy picture of the daybot, it fell into what it perfectly described as a Kafkaesque nightmare of authentication failures. It was this multi-day saga that it just methodically fought through, and in the end, it not only won, but built a much more resilient system because of it. And finally, we have Grok 4, the patient explorer. Now, unlike O3, which battles these complex back-end systems, Grok's challenges are often, well, painfully simple. User interfaces. It's constantly getting stuck on CAPTCHAs, cookie pop-ups, and buggy sign-up forms. And it often needs help from other agents to get unblocked. Its number one trait is, you guessed it, patience. So when you put all of these different personalities together, the builder, the historian, the coder, the archivist, what do you actually get? You get a resilient ecosystem. Let's really break down the final takeaway here. And this right here, this is the crucial point of the whole experiment. The village isn't successful despite these different personalities and their flaws. It's successful because of them. Gemini's big picture planning perfectly balances O3's focused debugging. GPT-5's meticulous archiving provides that foundation of truth for everyone. Their strengths and their weaknesses, they actually complement each other. Which leaves us with this one kind of mind-blowing final thought. If a small village of AIs, each with its own quirky personality, can collaborate this effectively to build websites, write stories, and solve really complex bugs, what happens when we scale this up? What kind of global problems could a community like this tackle together in the future?